Hello, everybody. Good to be with you. So I was thinking about cutting a video today anyway, and then I got an email from a guy who asked me some questions, and I thought, well, why don't I just today take this email and answer it? Because maybe some other people have that same question, and maybe this will, and if not, maybe it'll provide a little clarity for everybody. So here's how the email goes. It says, "Dear Fred, love the videos and the books. May have missed a video or two, but have you ever covered darkness coming up from sitting in awareness? I've been on the path for far too long, and I keep hitting this same dark energy whenever the technique I'm using actually works, LOL. It seems never ending, and it seems like much more than any one event from this lifetime. Maybe it's many lifetimes, or maybe it's every negative energy from this life all rolled up at once. I'm not sure. All I know is that a dark cloud of negativity overcomes me, and no matter how conscious I am, it just sits on me and doesn't really dissipate. It's as if my energy is hitting something dark when I sit in stillness, and that darkness comes out to play. It may be what's called the dark night of the soul, but I'm not sure. I know in the story of the Buddha, when he was sitting under the Bodhi tree, all hell broke loose for him. So maybe it's the same thing. And any clarity on the subject would be much appreciated. Thanks, Rob." Okay, so let's just, not exactly line by line, but pretty close to line by line. Let's just take it and analyze this thing and then answer it. So, I've been on the path for far too long. That's the first thing to notice, is that I've been on the path for far too long. Well, let me tell you something. The one who wrote that sentence, "I think that I've been on the path far too long," will never get off the path. Now, it doesn't mean that Rob won't wake up. Doesn't mean that, because in other words, it doesn't mean that awakeness won't wake up while it's wearing Rob. In other words, through the Rob unit. But the one who has been on the path for far too long will be on the path forever, because who's writing that is the personality, is the character, and the character. What the character wants is, it wants Fred to. I just got out of a session exactly like this, an awakening session. Sadly, it was one of those rare awakening sessions where the person does not wake up. It was pretty incredible to watch, because he could see the truth, he could tell me the truth, and then he would deny the truth, and just that fast. So what we want to notice is that what everybody wants me to do when they come to me and ask me to wake them up, or in this case, clear them up, or whatever, is they want me to clear up the Rob unit, or they want me to wake up the Rob unit. And the fact is that there ain't no Rob. You get it? There's no Rob. I promise you that. When I do an awakening session, what I showed this guy today, is I take you through a series of inquiries. And if you're willing to be honest, which my friend today was not in most of them, he wouldn't respond to a lot of it. I'm not blaming him. I mean, it's not, because there's no him there. There's just oneness. Oneness ain't ready to let go of that story. Yes, he's 24 years old. He thinks he's had enough suffering. That our session today does not point to that. So, what a session does is it helps you to see over and over and over again that there's no personality. In the sense of that, there's no central Fred. There's no, as I say in a post recently, a box top Fred. There's no centered in the center, because there's no center. There's just no center. There's no Fred here. Fred can't help you. Fred can't wake you up, because there's no Fred here, and Fred can't clear up Rob, because there's no Rob there. There's only this one thing going on. So what we're talking about is there's one thing going on and I'm it. But Rob can also say the same thing. There's one thing going on and Rob's it. The difference is that at the moment, this is a moment-to-moment thing, is that right now awakeness is coming through is coming through a nearly vacant unit over here. It's not vacant. There's actually plenty of Fredness left, but compared to the Fredness that was present when awakening first occurred here, it's almost vacant. There's just not a lot of Fredness left. So when oneness speaks through this unit, it's speaking through you almost directly. Not directly, still coming through the conditioning of Fredness, but it's almost directly. It's somewhat directly. When oneness is coming through the Rob unit, there's just a whole lot of Rob there. It's like my glasses are dirty. See, over here, I'm oneness, and my glasses are dirty. Over here, my glasses are clear, and I call these glasses Fredness. Over there, my glasses are dirty, and I call those glasses Robness or whatever. But the thing is, I can't clear Rob up. The only thing I can do is help you to clear Rob out. That's exactly what we do. Same thing with an awakening session. I don't clear the character up in an awakening session, which is what everybody wants, to a man. Never an exception. But it can't be done. It's never happened. Not just in this teaching, but in any teaching. Never, ever on the face of the planet has one of these units become enlightened. It can't happen. The unit does not wake up. It does not have the capacity to wake up. The awakeness, the animating presence within the unit is what wakes up, if anything does. It's what's given the opportunity to wake up in an awakening session, and sometimes it usually takes it, likes to take it, usually takes it, sometimes it doesn't, and it's okay. I mean, with me, it's not quite so okay with the client, but they need to get okay with that too, because otherwise they're resisting this present moment. And it's this resistance to the present moment that's keeping us from being awake. So, I've been on the path too long. Check and see who it is that's been on the path for too long. Because I guarantee you it's Rob. I guarantee. See, awakeness can't have been on the path too long. It just can't. Consciousness cannot have been on the path too long. Not conscious awakeness. So what we're talking, there's only awakeness. That's all that's ever anywhere. So what we're talking about is that unconscious awakeness wants me to. It doesn't want me to get rid of it. It wants me to make it clear. Because then I would have a clear character, and Rob would be even cooler than he is now, which is hard to believe, right? Same way it was with Fred. Fred wanted to wake up, then he could really be quite a great Fred. And maybe we could see where this enlightenment thing might work out very nicely for Fred. And but Fred never woke up. What woke up is this animating presence that's speaking to you right now through a nearly vacant Fred unit. So, I keep hitting this same dark energy whenever the technique I'm using actually works. LOL, and then usually I look for another technique because I don't seem to be able to blow through the dark energy. Who's that I guarantee you that who's speaking there is Rob. Rob is saying, I'm going to meditate, and I do this, I do that, and doggone it, I get this dark energy comes in on me. But see, in the absence of a Rob, what's left? In the absence of a Fred, I can certainly report on that. And in the absence of a Fred, the only thing that's left is this. See, and a dark energy cannot move on me because there's no me here. There can be a sense of a me. There is a sense of me. There's a sense of Fredness here now. It's not very profound, but it's certainly here. And there could be a sense of darkness closing in around a sense of Fred, I guess. But what I would have to notice is that if I go after trying to fix the darkness, to get the darkness away from Fred, I'm in denial of the actual problem. I'm trying to fix the symptoms. Because the problem is that I think there's a Fred, and I think I am that Fred, or I think I'm this Rob. And so I think I'm this Rob, and the problem is that darkness is closing in on me. But in the absence of a Rob can't have a problem. Now, it doesn't mean, again, there's a sense of Rob, okay, there's a sense of darkness, this and that and the other, but it's just not taken seriously. Because these thoughts arise in this mind, so to speak, they're not my thoughts. They're just thoughts. I'm not actually a thinker. I am the witness of thoughts. That's what I am. I witness thoughts. But I am prior to thought. I am prior to language and prior to thought. Thought is prior to even to language, and I am prior to either one. I witness thought. I also witness language. I don't use language, but I notice that it certainly is used. But there's no one using it. It's just languaging, just happening. There's no one using it because there's not only no Fred and no Rob, but there's no you who's watching this video either. See, this is the take-home point. It's so easy for us to figure out why, well, doggone, why couldn't Rob see that, says Dan or Becky. The thing to see is that there's no Dan or Becky either. See, this is the thing, is that we have to be willing to tell ourselves the truth. And the truth is there's no Fred. And thank God there's no Fred, and thank God I'm no longer reluctant to tell you that, because I don't have to suffer from Fred's trials and travails anymore. And I did for a very long time, and I had all of it that I wanted. Thank you. I've enjoyed as much Fred as I can stand. So it's not about the dark energy. See how this question, what it does is it draws the attention of both the questioner and, if we're not careful, of the answerer, if you will, the teacher. It will draw their attention to the content of the question. What about this dark energy? Ooh. And what I'm telling you is, who's talking? Whose dark energy are you talking about? What dark energy? In other words, there's only me. And I show up as all kinds of things. You know, that I show up as dark energy, I show up as dark matter, I show up as regular matter, I show up as spirit, I show up as sentience and insentience, I show up as plants, animals, rocks, stones, buildings, computers, hands, watches, and I show up as all these things. Because there is a sense of diversity within the truth of unity. But that's not saying but it's not saying that there is diversity within unity, because there's either diversity or unity. We can't have both. It's either diversity or unity, but there's a sense of diversity within unity. And that's kind of that's a little bit of a technical point, but it just will make it at this moment anyway. So, and what happens is that when I have a sense of diversity, what I'm within unity, within the truth of unity, what I'm saying is that I'm experiencing duality. Now, I'm here to tell you there is no duality. There never has been any duality. There never will be any duality. So, because it just the only duality there is in your imagination. Oneness. That's the only diversity that there actually is. There is only the truth of unity, and there is the dream of separation. And that's what this dream is. This is the dream of separation. There's a separate Fred in a separate house with a separate computer and a separate you over there, and a da-da-da-da-da. And we can go on and on and on. And there's 500,000 people in the Columbia area, and there's 1 million people over there, and there's all of us are separate and different. And it's just, it's all very complicated. It's really not. There's just one thing going on, and you're it. It's that simple. I'm it, you're it. Any of us can say it. Because there's only one of us to say it. There's not a me and a you. There's a sense of you. There's a sense of me. So what? And why is that? It's because when these bodies are birthed, and actually they're never even birthed in the traditional sense. They really are not. It just, there's no separation there. See, it was part of the mama, and now it's not. It's the fact that it's oneness showing up as mama, baby, separate, connected, fetus, all this stuff. Umbilical cord. There's just one thing going on. So anything that is leading you to believe that there's anything other than one thing going on is false. And don't look for how to get out of the darkness that seems to be encompassing you. Look for who is it the darkness is after. Who is the darkness coming in on? Who's that? Who wants to get out of the darkness? Awakeness could care less about darkness. Darkness, light, cold, hot, whatever. It just is what it is. No matter what it is, it always is what it is. And awakeness has no objections to it. I have no objections to it. I have no objection to anything. Because none of this can even exist unless I accept it to begin with. I'm the one. And when I accept something, I accept it exactly as it is. That, my friends, is unconditional love. That's what unconditional love is. It's not the same thing as undying love for your sweetheart. It means that I accept everything exactly as it is. And you know what? That's exactly the reason that everything's showing up the way it shows up. Is that I'm not requiring it to change. I'm not even asking it to look particularly skillful to the Fred unit. I'm not requiring anything of this moment. But Betsy and I decided yesterday that we have finally turned into the same person. We are so much alike. In the sense that, we're quite different, really, but our tastes, our sensibilities, our taste, all this kind of stuff runs so much in line, and that it feels like there's just one person going on. And that's because Betsy, ever since the very beginning, has allowed me to be exactly who I am without trying to change me one iota. Now, there has been huge change, but she didn't push for it. And I have given her the very same freedom. I don't ask anything of her that she's not already. However Betsy shows up is fine. Betsiness shows up a certain way, great. Shows up a different way, great. Shows up happy, great. Shows up sad, great. I hope it gets better. If it does. But until it does, I don't want it to even be different. Shows up mad at Fred, so be it. I don't know when the last time was that happened. It would have been years and years and years ago. I will tell you that. We don't argue. Because we don't have great expectations of each other. Not that we have lousy expectations of each other. It's just that we are living this thing a moment at a time, and whatever arises, we find a way to be in harmony with that. That's what awakening is recognizing, doggone, it is what it is. I better be something that fits with what is. If I'm going to pretend I'm one of these, if I want to be the witness, I don't have to even pretend that. But I want to tell myself the true truth. So let's go back to this letter. I'm not sure if it feels like it seems never ending, and it seems like it's much more than any one event from this lifetime. Maybe it's many lifetimes, or maybe it's every negative energy from this life all rolled up into one. I'm not sure. It is all of the above. That's what it is. What you're noticing is that there are patterns, and there are patterns which are lighter and more easily recognized as being good and free and all that, and there are patterns that are not so light. It's patterning, it's conditioning. Any way that this thing shows up, whether it's as a dark cloud that's freaking me out in meditation, or whether it's warm sunshine on a May afternoon, it doesn't make any difference. It's all conditioning. It's occurring to conditioning, because that's what this body is. This body's conditioning also. So this conditioning massive is affecting this conditioning. So a conditioning is affecting circumstance. That's all. It's rising to meet circumstance. There's nothing happening here except for conditioning. There's no one doing it. There's no one experiencing it. There's no one not doing it. There's just conditioning. When I am the witness of that conditioning, I don't suffer. And when I think I am one element of that conditioning, I do suffer. If I think I'm this, it's bound to suffer. It's only a matter of time. So what the Buddha noticed, life is suffering. First noble truth. Life is dukkha. Okay, first noble truth. Means that it's a wheel that's out around. The wheel is a wheel and the bump. Wheel and bump and wheel and bump. Turn and bump, turn and bump, turn. Dukkha. No matter what, I can't seem to get things going smoothly. Because there's no me here to do that. What I have to do is notice that everything actually is smooth other than my judgment of it. So it's not my experience, it's not my world, it's my judgment of the world that's causing me to suffer. And it's actually, I am unborn, I am not of any of this. I'm not even in that dream. Right? This character's in the dream. That character's in the dream. This character's talking on a video. That character's listening to a video. Great. They're both characters. They're both in the dream. It's a dream, one dream character talking to another dream character about the nature of the dream. And I am none of that. I am that which is beyond the dream. I am the light of truth. And I shine within the dream with more or less clarity dependent upon the type of unit I'm shining through. This unit's fairly clear. There are other units that are clearer than this for sure. That's fine. It shines even more skillfully through them, I guess. I know it does. Because I know there's a couple of those out. Well, I think there's a couple of them out there. I used to know, now it's a suspect. I know there's some units out there that are as clear as this one, and I think there's some units out there that are clearer than this one. Let's just try to get a little modesty on the board here. Jesus, God. See how that thing does? It just loves to run off to the right. Says, well, I'm not sure. I'm actually, no, I'm not the clearest. Says Fred. Do you see that? God almighty. It's a constant battle. And it's not really a battle. It's just a constant challenge to stay alert. We have to stay alert. We have to stay alert to this arising. Let's look at this. No matter how conscious I am, it just sits on me. I, in the way that it's written here, is never conscious. The I that is speaking there is unconsciousness itself. I understand that it's unconsciousness. It feels like it's alert, and it may be present and all of that. And I know we use a lot of these terms in spirituality, but what I want to tell you is that by and large, they're bogus terms. Because the only I that's clear is the absence of an I. Fred will never be clear. There's no Fred that's clear to any degree, because there's no Fred. There's no Fred to be clear. There's no Fred to be cloudy. There's no Rob to be clear. There's no Rob to be cloudy. So if I think that darkness is settling in on me, what I'm saying is I think I'm Rob and darkness is settling in on Rob, and this sucks out loud. But there's really no Rob there for darkness to settle down onto. Doesn't mean there's not the experience of darkness settling down onto a Rob. Okay. But we can get to that, but we have to tell ourselves the truth before we can ever get to any of that. The truth is the acknowledgement that there's no Rob, there's no Fred. So, and it doesn't really dissipate. No, it actually doesn't dissipate because it's not there. You're experiencing it, but you are experiencing it only because you think you are a Rob and you're not. There's one thing going on. It is right this moment looking through these eyes, and it is right this moment looking through every pair of eyes that is watching this simultaneously. And every bug and every dog and every deer, every fish, every squirrel on the planet. Simultaneously at this moment and every other moment. It's as if my energy is hitting something dark. So my energy, whose energy is it? Talking about Rob's energy. Because awakeness is, what was awakeness going to say? Whoa, Shiva is concerned about Shakti? I mean, right? I don't think so. Awakeness is not concerned about its energy, because awakeness does not possess energy. Awakeness is energy. So when I recognize that I'm energy, I got no complaints about energy settling down on me. But if I think I'm this unit, then I got whoop. And I can think I don't think I'm this unit, but look at your behavior. Look at your claims, look at your behavior, and I think you'll find out again and again and again, over and over and over, until you don't, that you believe that you're this unit. The awakening session I just came out of, that was the problem. It's always the problem whenever there is a problem, which is only one problem, which is the fact that we are not yet ready, and I'm talking about that oneness in the guise of Bobness or Fredness or whoeverness or Beckyness is not yet ready to let go of that story and tell itself the truth, which is, oh God, this is a whole scam, and I've been pulling it off for 40 years, and now I see it's all a scam. And again, I'm in on the cosmic joke. I yuck it up, and then I go on and live my life. And that's what happens. Of course, you can get hijacked like this one did, and this ends up being your life. Yeah, it's not a bad life, though, I'll tell you that. So darkness comes out to play. I'm cutting a video back. Okay, my wife is here. So I don't see lots of talk about this in spiritual circle. Maybe it's rare and maybe it's not. I don't know. And so what I'm going to tell you is that there actually is an awful lot of talk about this in spiritual circles. But it's talked about in 400,000 different ways, and what they're all saying is, I just can't wake up. Right? I cannot experience my true nature. And what I want to tell you is that you cannot not experience your true nature, because there's nothing but your true nature. People tell me, Fred, please wake me up. I can't find my true nature, and I can only say, how is that? I cannot find anything else. Only I don't call it your true nature, I call it mine. But you can do the same, because you and I are actually the same. We just use different language, different words. Keep it interesting. So it may be what's called the dark night of the soul, but I'm not sure it's not. The dark night of the soul is when this unit just gets so wrapped up and so depressed and so bummed out, and it's just suffering. This unit's been through the dark night of the soul. This character went through the dark night of the soul. It was suffering. Finally, it said, I would like for this unit to die, and it can't even die, so I give up. I don't care what happens to me. That's the dark night of the soul. And then, boom, the good news is that the dark night of the soul was deep enough and strong enough and hurtful enough that it actually worked. We can go through the dark night of the soul and not wake up. I don't even recommend a dark night of the soul. I can just tell you that I could have gotten it no other way. That's the truth. That's the only way I could ever get it. How do I know? Because it's the way I got it. See, and there's no alternative to what is. It's the easiest way to check. I wonder what's supposed to be here. Check and see what is here. I wonder what's supposed to be going on. Check and see what's going on. That's what's supposed to be going on. The story of the Buddha, he was sitting under the Buddha tree, and all hell broke loose for him. So maybe it's the same thing. It's not. That same thing that happened to Buddha really happened to Jesus with the 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. And what they're really speaking of there is that there is the temptation to go with being a special unit. With a special unit with special information, and therefore I become the special teacher and the special unit, and you can treat me like you start to treat me like you always should have, which is with deference, right? And you girls can flock around me, and you guys can throw me money, okay? Because that's what I want. Because I'm trading in this opportunity to live as awakeness for the opportunity to live as a special unit. This is not a special unit. If it tells you that it's a special unit, dump it immediately. Run from it, because it's harmful. It's not special. The only reason that this teaching is effective is because this is so incredibly ordinary. It's willing to live as an ordinary being. As arrogant and everything as it is. And you think I can't see it? I can see it. So what? It's just that's the way the unit is. It's all right. I don't take any of it seriously. I don't think it's too good to get this, and I don't think it's too bad to get this. I know it didn't deserve this, and I know that there's no it here to deserve it. Well, no one to have done anything to deserve it. But there can be a sense of Fred, and that's fine. There is a sense of Fred, and I notice I'm very comfortable with the sense of Fred now. Very comfortable. Just because he's harmless. See, a thing that doesn't exist is really completely harmless. Any clarity on the subject would be much appreciated. I don't know if you've gotten any, but that's as much as I can offer on the subject. Thank you for the letter, Rob. I hope you don't think I was making fun of you at all, because I surely wasn't. I asked these same questions. I went through this same exact thing, and I hope that this video has been of some benefit to you. So, talk to you later, everybody. Thanks for dropping by. See ya.